What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview today with my guy, Jantzen. Janssen's been with the program for, I think, like maybe 7 or 8 months now. He just actually came out to the mastermind in Arizona as well, and he's become a good friend of mine. But Jantzen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am fired up to be here, bro. Thanks for having me on. My name is Jantzen. I played baseball at TCU, played 12 years of pro ball after that, and was lucky enough to get introduced to Nick through a buddy of mine and introduced me to the game of online coaching. And it has already changed my life. I was just talking to Nick just about how much time it allows me to be with my family and to travel. And it's gotten my wheels to start turning in a different light. And I'm just extremely thankful for you to Nick. And, I can't brag about your program enough.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you so much. You've really taken what we teach and really embodied it, dude. Why don't you maybe go back to the beginning of kind of when we met? Like, where were you at there?
Yeah. So it was kind of a weird time for me because it was the first year that I hadn't signed with a affiliated team in pro ball for spring training. And baseball is tough. How you get paid during the season, the off season, make no income. And so by that time, where normally I'd enter spring training and have some money coming in, it was like, oh wow, if I don't get a job, like I got to figure some things out. And so had a buddy of mine, Evan Mendoza, who I'd played with the year before, who was killing it. And I saw what he was doing during the season the year before, and I really liked what he was doing. And I've always felt like, dude, social media, no matter what I want to do, like I need to use it instead of just letting it use me. And so I signed on with you and was getting started in the program, was really excited about it. It all made sense. And then I ended up signing with the Rangers and went off to play during the season. So I kind of slowed down everything. I had a hard time running both of those. Had a pretty good year, but then ended up getting released. And right after getting released, I started doing this pretty much full time. And I found out right away that this is a really cool lifestyle and it fits perfectly. Basically, it felt like all my passions align. It was a way for me to make great money. It was something that I really loved, and it allowed me to travel and be with my family and help these kids a lot. So there were three or four things that all felt like they connected into one. And it was just a really good fit for me. And I'm still figuring it all out. You said that I embody your program. I appreciate that. I still feel like there's a lot of things that I need to get better with that you are so good at. And so, like I said before, man, I really just can't brag enough to anybody that watches this of just how dialed in you are and how much help you provide to everyone that joins the program.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, dude.
You
Why
need
don't
to
you talk?
hire me on, bro. I'll be your hype man all day long. That's like what I'm good at
Jansen, certified hype man.
for real. I need a rapper to sit behind.
Dude, why don't you talk a little bit about like kind of, when you really like made the decision like okay, like I'm gonna do this full time. Like what did that kind of look like? I know you were maybe given some lessons here and there.
Yeah. So just like every other pro guy, I've given lessons every off season. Baseball has always been my only job. And so I had a bunch of kids that I would work with during the off season, and then I would go off during the season. They would go to their season, and we wouldn't talk again until the next off season. It felt like I was always spinning my wheels. I was leaving these kids kind of when they needed me the most, but all my focus was on trying to get to the show and provide for my family. So it was a pretty easy transition that I had good relationships with a lot of former students I worked with in the past. So I approached them and said, hey guys, let's go with more of a college pro style approach to where we work together all the time. We can hit in the cage once a week. And then when we're not together, you send me video and I give you feedback. I build out a custom program for you. And, we get better that way. And dude, the growth that my kids have seen have been off the charts. Like even the first month together was like, whoa, like just the things that I had learned to help guys with in person and branching that also with the stuff online was a really big unlock for myself and all these other kids. And I'm still getting better with it, but it was really cool. It was a good fit for me just right off the bat.
Yeah, 100%. And I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but you had you've played all over the place, like Japan and like,
Yeah.
I,
I
how do
mean,
you feel
travel the
like that?
world.
Yeah. And how do you feel like that helped with like training these athletes and like kind of giving them a plan?
Yeah, pro ball, you're playing with American guys, kids that played in high school, kids that played in college. You've got Latin dudes from Cuba, Venezuela, Dominican, Mexico, literally everywhere. And then I got to go to Japan and see how they do things there. And it was just eye-opening of, from a strictly baseball side of things, like just how different our training is compared to, say, the Cuban guys and the Japanese guys. Like just the way they train, the way they do things in the cage, and everything else is just very different. So I've started to kind of bridge the gap between the stuff that worked for me and the stuff that I saw work around the world. And it's been a good mix. But I feel like as Americans, we think that our way of doing things is always the best way. And I've been able to be kind of humbled as I traveled around of like, damn, there's different ways of doing things, and I don't know if ours is always the best.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of interesting because I think, maybe there might be people out there watching this right now that feel the exact same way about in-person training. What what beliefs did you have about like hybrid or online training? Or what beliefs do you think that other people have about hybrid or online training that aren't true?
Yeah, I would say for me, I think the hybrid model is the best way for kids to truly get better. It's tough to compete with like I think remote training. Let me backtrack. If you're working with someone that's local who played high school or D3, and you compare that to working remote with me or someone of kind of my caliber and someone who cares about helping these kids, like remote all the way. And then if you could take fully remote with me versus hybrid with me, it's like if you want to truly get better, like remote or hybrid is the way. But with that said, like the remote option is incredible. And you're no longer limited to working with your local guy who has availability. Like, no offense to anybody, but like I'm in Fort Worth and the guy who is booked up, like played D3, like didn't play past that. And there's just you can't compete with guys who have 10 plus years experience, guys who played in the big leagues. Like just what you've been through in your career, it's if you haven't done it, you don't know those things. And therefore, if you have the option of working with someone local and he'll throw you BP and tell you to do the step back drill, and it's like, okay, like there's value in that, but you need to find someone who you can work with remotely as well to find that hybrid model. This is my thoughts behind it. That to me is the most valuable thing possible. And if you're not working with someone who has big league experience or a lot of experience, and someone who really cares about your career and wants to help you with recruiting and take you to the next level, you're not up to date with what the internet is offering. And there is this new wave of coaching that is coming thanks to you. I don't know who else is doing it, but I know firsthand that you are the best, and that this hasn't even caught on yet. And my God, like when we get good at this, it's so to your question, as far as like beliefs.
Oh, yeah, now
Sorry,
it's a
bro.
little bit
I
better.
think I lost you for a second. Uh,
Technical
I would say
difficulties.
that, yeah, sorry, bro. I would say that a lot of people think that they need to hit in person to get better. But bro, as a pro guy, I have coaches that I send video to, back and forth. Like, and that is how I get better. Truly, I've worked with guys remotely my entire pro career. Towards the end of my career, when I really took off and got better. So I was a believer in the remote side of things from the start because I've seen it work for me. For me, one FaceTime call with a great coach transformed my year, which then got me to Japan. And so it changed my life. One 45-minute phone call. So I'm like, I knew I was a believer in the remote side of things from the start because I've experienced it myself.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. What would you say to somebody who maybe is like they're a coach and they don't want to water down their training online? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say that we all know the mental side of things, and there's little intricacies of baseball that are more important than mechanics. Mechanics have a place, and you also can work with that online. But I don't think you need to water down your stuff at all. I think it's actually providing a service that is way more of a holistic approach than just working once a week with kids in person. Like that is so dated. It's so backwards. If you played in college, you played in pro ball, you are so far removed from that approach that the fact that kids are still doing that is pretty laughable. And that's no offense to anybody. They don't know. And they're going to find out soon. And I think coaches that join on with you, coaches that join on with what I'm trying to do, it's going to be really valuable for kids and really profitable for coaches. And that's a perfect world.
Yeah, 100%. So you would say that there's a possibility for, coaches to make money and make more money and for it to be more valuable to the athletes, right? Like you would say that it's a win-win.
I've lived it 100%. And I think it's a win for the parents. It's like, dude, as a parent, like who do you want your kid hanging out with? Do you want him just on social media all day, or do you want him like spending at least some time off social media and surrounding himself with, like, not to brag on myself, but like I'm a decent person, I'm a great family man, I care about all the kids that I work with, and it's like, come hang out with me, come ask me any question you want. Like, you had a bad day, send me a message. Like, you went off and you went 4 for 4 with a double and a homer, like post it in our wins group and let everybody else like gas you up. Like, it's just a cool community that has been built out, and we're continuing to build that. Just when times are tough, you've got a support system. When times are great, you've got guys gassing you up, telling you you're the best. And that's what you need. That's what a good teammate offers you. And that's what we are now offering by the, miracle of the internet. Like, how this thing even came about, I have no idea. But it's a new world. And it's a good time for you to sign on and learn from the best people in the world, and no longer just somebody who played in high school that's local to you. Like, dude, if you live in Wisconsin or somewhere, like, who are you working with? Like, you might as well work with somebody who played in the big leagues or played in Japan, who's played all over the world, played in Omaha in college. Like, you're better off working with someone like that than just someone who can just throw you BP.
100%. So you would say that you've had positive experiences with like hybrid and online training.
Come on, bro. I'm your biggest fan. Like, absolutely. It has changed my life. It's changed my family's life. Like, I have 2 sons that are 3 and 1, and my wife does not know how good she has it, how often I'm home, how often I'm around. I get to seriously raise my kids. Um, it's totally changed our perspective of thinking about anything. It is your program, and working with you and getting to be around you has changed my life. So I'm not blowing smoke up your ass for this video. Like, I've told you that in person countless times, but you have changed the way I think. You have, when I zoom out to look 6 months forward from now, I think I'm going to look back on this version of myself and where I'm at, and be proud of kind of where I started, but kind of laugh of like, damn, it's just pretty cool of where we've gotten to.
Yeah. What
And money or not, like, it's just the way I view the world and the opportunities that I see when I see things, and just the people that I've reconnected with that I never would have asked them for a favor. And now we're friends again. And I'm getting to just, like I said, reconnect with all these former relationships with teammates I've had. No one probably has any idea what I'm talking about, but it's been a really cool deal that I would not have done, I don't think, if it wasn't for you. Like, I would still be giving traditional lessons and worry that I would have to get a job if I hadn't joined your program.
well, that fires me up, bro. What
It should, dude. It's
what
really cool.
I appreciate you, bro. What maybe like tactically, like what do you feel like are the biggest things that you got out of like working with us?
Hmm. I would say it's been really cool just how you've built out your program. How I think I would have expected, like, dude, I need a lot of one-on-one training to really figure out what I need to do. And the way you have it set up to where you're teaching one to many instead of just one to one, I've been able to take that with my approach of working with kids, and it's way more effective than I ever thought it would be. And you just built it out to where you have calls along the way, and it's so well structured that you don't feel like you're missing any of that one-on-one time. And you do such a good job of answering questions within the community. You've brought on amazing people that everyone is just so willing to help each other out. It's just a really cool culture that you've built, and it's something that I'm trying to do as well. And yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, dude. And I guess like maybe let's dive into that even a little bit more. Like in terms of the actual program from an outsider looking in, like what does it kind of look like?
Oh, now, hey, I'm a little removed from the program, so I might need your feedback on this. But just when I think about, the offer of how, well, dude, let me just brag on you with this as well, is that, I felt like every year I played baseball and I came home, and in the off season I studied Hormozy and Russell Brunson and Tony Robbins and all these things. I knew I wanted to start a business, and I felt like whenever I got rolling around to maybe have an idea to start, it was like, boom, I'm back in spring training. I'm back getting ready. And so your program is a lot of these things that I've heard from other people, but you have packaged it together in such a baseball specific way for us coaches that it's just kind of a no-brainer as I go through it. I was sold from the start because I'm like, this is Russell Brunson, like this is ClickFunnels, this is marketing from Hormozy and all these different things, that it was like, of course this works, like I've known that this would work for years, but I've never had the balls and felt like I had the time and the vision to really do it. And you've really helped me figure out along the way of like, you don't need to have everything mapped out and a perfect vision for where you're going to be and what your business is going to look like. It's like, dude, you just got to show up every day and figure things out. And that's been really eye-opening to me. And when I look at other businesses now and successful people, even my friends, I'm like, oh, like you're still figuring things out. I've got a buddy of mine, he buys businesses like crazy. And I've always wondered, I'm like, dude, I don't know how you stay so organized and how you do all this. And after talking with him, after working with you, I'm like, oh, he's just figured it out. Like he's gotten better as time has gone on, and he's developed these skills, and it's given him the discipline and the confidence to keep moving forward and knowing that, he can reach these goals every time he sets a new one. And that's been really big for me, is that, just show up every day, figure it out. Problems are going to happen. Systems are going to break, and you get to rebuild them and, learn how to scale, learn what works for you. And I'm talking like I got things figured out. I don't, but I'm a step closer today than I was yesterday, and that's a really cool feeling. That's something that I've taken from you in your program.
Yeah.
Not sure if I answered your question again,
No, it's
but I'm
perfect.
talking a lot.
No, it's perfect. That's why we're here, brother. I could say it all day long, but people are like, "Oh, he's got something to sell me. He's not telling the truth." You know what I
Yeah, and
mean?
that's the other thing too. Like, and I haven't watched your other interviews, so I don't know what they're like. But when you see the social media side of you, it's different than in person. It's different when I get to talk with you one on one for an hour, and I feel like that we have become friends. And maybe you make everyone feel like this. I don't know, but I feel like, and I hope that I kind of show a different side of you, of just how effective you've been for me and how much I consider you a close friend, even though we don't talk all that often one on one. But that's something that's possible through online communities and working with people online. And you really are a great person. Nobody could tell me otherwise. Like if you end up going to jail, I'd be like, man, it's going to be hard pressed to convince me that, Nick did this, like you should ask my wife about you, bro. I talk about you a lot, and just how dialed in you are, and just like how proud I am of what you've built, and just I'm fired up to be a part of it. I really am. And so if there's anybody on the fence, I hope you come across this interview, and I hope you work with me first, because I'm trying to build something really cool, but I'm funneling all my guys to you right afterwards, because I know the value you provide. And I'll always be a big fan of what you've done.
I appreciate that, bro. We'll talk about your future plans here in a second. I wanna dive in a little bit to the mindset stuff because you kind of touched on it. Like, how do you feel like working with us directly or the program or the community has impacted your mindset and kind of shown you maybe like what's actually possible?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things now, zooming out and looking back at my career as a player, I wish I would have done then that I'm doing now. For example, the vision board and all these things I used to think were kind of woohoo. When I look at it now, I'm like, what if I got to lose, bro? Like, what if I got to lose? Like thinking about what the best version of myself looks like. What have I got to lose in like making crazy goals, like why just go through life like just like we said earlier, where you just kind of, if you don't have a North Star or a compass pointing you in a certain direction, you're just kind of hobbling through life and limping, and things happen, and you fall back in the same old cycles. And I can say that firsthand, having young kids, things pop up and things happen where you have schedules, somebody calls and you're like, like I've got 30 minutes here to work. But when you go through your program and you learn the things that you have kind of cultivated for yourself and the goals that you have set. And, I'm looking at Camelback Mountain right behind you, and I've sat in that apartment, that couch right behind you, and I've witnessed your vision board and just how you are playing the game of life a different way now and continuing to level up. And I used to think that was kind of woohoo. And now that I've seen it firsthand and I've gotten goosebumps hearing you talk about it, it's like, what am I doing? Like, dude, start doing these things. Like, it's so obvious. So yeah, when I say you changed my life, it's things like that. Like, I feel like I've found a new purpose for not just me as a business person and trying to do cool things and help these athletes, but as a father and as a husband. It's like I write things down now that are important to me, and I don't let other things get in the way. It's like, when I'm with my kids, I don't have my phone. Like, I'm a present father, and I'm so proud of that. And I don't know where I'd be without. I don't think I'd be a mess. Like, I'm a good person. I'm pretty dialed in, but like, you really help shortcut me to thinking about things differently.
Yeah. No, you're the man. And it's been so cool to see how your mindset has changed. Where do you feel like, or what do you feel like the mastermind did for you? Like when you came out here, you sat in my living room, you saw that I was a real person. Like, what do you
Yeah.
feel like that did?
Um, just hearing your story a little bit more intimately. And I was lucky enough that I had some longer Zoom calls with you. And soon you probably won't be taking Zoom calls with other people. You got your focus on different things. So I felt lucky that I was able to snag you and lock you down and getting to know you a little bit better. But getting to be in your spot in person and get the goosebumps of seeing where you started in such a short time ago, 7 months ago, to how many kids you worked with as a coach, and just how kind of a mess it was, and just how things broke down, and what you've been able to, like a phoenix, rise up and build something way cooler. Seeing that in person and get to be around other people who are like-minded and trying to do the same things that we all are, it was a really cool deal. And anytime I can get to Scottsdale, it's like, why would I not do that,
Yeah, 100%. No, I appreciate you, dude. It was for me it was probably the best weekend of my life. Not gonna fake.
That's so cool, bro. And like, you getting a little bit emotional of talking about your journey, and it was totally unexpected for you. Like, I get that. When I talk about my kids, I just start crying all the time. And this is your baby. You have started this from nothing. And, you've figured it out along the way. You've hired amazing people. Like, this is a business and a team that you put together that's going to last for decades. And, if it's not this, you are so well prepared to do other things. And that's what the program teaches you. It teaches you how to use social media, how to market, how to make an offer. Like, if I was going to go sell t-shirts after this, I'm way more prepared now than I am before your program. Like, automations and things like onboarding, like, oh my God, like there's just so many things that I can't really talk about with a 30-minute conversation. But you've shined a light on a lot of things that make an online business make more sense. And there's no better time than now with AI and everything else that things can be made to be pretty simple.
100%. What advice would you have for anybody that's watching this right now that's maybe like wanting to start doing online training? They're thinking about maybe joining our program. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say it's an investment, and you need to be serious about, like, when you start. Um, I would really kind of like iron out some time, or figure out a way to, like, hey, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to devote 3 months to this. And if you can do that, like, your life becomes like totally different. And I can't describe to you in really how many ways, but if you're on the fence, like, it's going to sting, it's going to be an investment, but man, is it worth it? Like, if you have any any real questions, send me a DM, and I'll, if you think I'm BSing here, like I'll shoot you straight. Maybe I can even get a referral bonus for referring you to Nick. But I would really say that it has been a great decision for not only me, but my family. And it's allowed me to start some things I'm really excited about. And like I said, like I don't think I would be doing that had I not been around you and not just seeing what's possible with the internet. And you hear about these YouTubers making $1 million a month and all this stuff. And that seems like I don't know how to do that. But baseball I know how to do, and I know how to coach, and I care about it, and I care about the players. And you've got it niched down in such a way that it's you've got people having success in all different facets of baseball, like freaking posture therapy, like things like that like I'd never heard of. Like, dude, Connor's going off. You've got guys like Ian Jenkins and everybody else that you've worked with, like whatever. I'm sure other videos, touch on that, but it's I feel like whoever is committed to learning from you, like you're gonna start shitting gold soon. Like it's inevitable. Like if you just put one foot forward in front of the other, like the skills you've accrued and the skills that you teach, it's just so specific to what we're trying to do that it's like, bro, just follow the program. I wish I would have done that better. If I had advice for someone, when you sign on to the program, go piece by piece. Like I kind of was doing that and then fell out of it. I was playing, and when I got back into it, I'm like, okay, I know all this. Okay, I need to start taking on lessons now. So I'd skipped around. And when it got to like creating offer and things, I think I would have been better fitted to literally, the program is built step by step for a reason. And if you just have the patience and the wherewithal to follow step by step, like it's going to work out.
Yeah. I know you gotta jump soon here pretty quick, but um what are your plans for the future? Like what are you looking to do moving forward?
Appreciate you, bro. First of all, I just want to say thank you for everything. I've been lucky enough to, I don't know, bro. When I look back at my life, it's just weird how like my network of teammates and friends and guys I played against I do have a somewhat close relationship with them. And so going forward, I'm looking at connecting kids all over the nation, eventually the world, with working with legit pros. And, us on the pro side of things, we're really frustrated with how, if we put ourselves in a high school players or college players' shoes, it's like, dude, social media is a mess. Everyone's an expert. And, us pros are really frustrated with how that's going. And so we are creating a couple school communities, SKOOL, to where you come on and you learn from legit pros. I've got guys like Matt Carpenter and just countless. We're around 70 current and former players right now, to where it's a free community. It will always be free. And we're legitimately trying to help you. Like we're not the best at making Instagram and YouTube videos, but we know the game of baseball. And so when you come join our community, it's we want to help you as much as possible. And so that's what we're building out. I'm looking to be the bridge between connecting guys who've played in pros, played in the big leagues, with kids nationwide who are really trying to get to the next level.
Yeah. No, you're gonna crush it, dude. And I know you have a gigantic network, and dude, you have such a good heart. And so I just want to say,
Thank you,
like,
bro.
thank you, bro. Like,
Oh,
thank you
dude.
so much for being the man.
Man, that means a lot, like for real. And one thing I'll say too is like you really gave me the courage to post on social media and or just the program. And that has been game changer for me. I used to be really nervous about what people thought of me. And I was so every time I put the post button, I would get real self-conscious. And what has been really cool is all my other pro buddies or guys I played against, they message me like, hey, love your content, love what you're doing. And I'm like, dude, that means so much to me, because I was so nervous and felt like there's that stigma around slimy selling things on Instagram and posting about your career and everything else that we were legitimately taught in spring training every year. And so it's really given me the courage to, like, who cares what other people think, the courage to say no to things that don't fit with what I'm trying to do. And if it takes time away from my family or my business, and it's just a simple no. And that's been a superpower in and of itself. And so when I talk about just how much you've helped me in the program, it's just so multifaceted that I really can't lay it out in 30 minutes. It's just, it's changed so many things in my life. And, I'm not the only one that feels that way. Getting to be around other people in the program, it's, you change a lot of lives and you're just starting out. Like, it's pretty freaking crazy, bro. You're 7 months in. Like, what is 2 years going to look like from now? I'm probably gonna be
Yeah.
working for you.
Well, Jansen, I appreciate you so much, dude. Thank you
Likewise, bro.
for being an absolute legend. If somebody's watching this, where can they find you?
My Instagram, my name is spelled kind of weird, but it's at Jantzen Witty, JANTZENWITTE. And there's a link to my school page in the bio. And check me out there. Send me a DM and I'll get some referral money when I refer you to Nick.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Well, Jansen, I appreciate your time. If you're a coach watching this, you want to learn how you can expand your training business online, live a better life, make more money, help more athletes, the whole nine, my whole pitch. Booking a call, that's down below. Jansen, appreciate your time so much, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, bro. Love you, man. Appreciate it.
Love you too, bro. Peace.